Happy Friday, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Some pretty big stuff happening on Twitter right now because it looks like there may be a possibility that Batfleck is not being erased, or not being erased, but not disappearing altogether from the DCEU after the Flash movie, which up until now has basically been the prediction or, reports, rumors, what have you. So now, if you didn't see recently, I made a video about the delays for the Black Adam movie, The Flash, and Aquaman. If you haven't seen that video, you can check that out and get the details on that. But there has been so much since that came out a couple days ago. There's been a lot of speculation about whether it has to do with the merger, which I'll get to in just a second, which is now completed. Well, the shareholders have approved of it for Discovery, so now it's going to be Warner Media Discovery. So that's coming to a close. So those delays, I don't think, are a coincidence with what's happening with the merger right now. So now Grace Randolph, with, I don't have any ill things to say about her. Sometimes she's right, sometimes she's wrong. Some people get really, flustered by her. I don't personally. Sometimes she's right, sometimes she's wrong about, information that she shares, which, it's going to happen. But right now she is saying, "You crazy Snyderverse fans, how you managed to stay alive is incredible. I now hear Batfleck does not die in The Flash after all," which is what was being said before. At least not the most recent cut. June 2023, which is when the Flash has been pushed back now to. So June 2023 and a Discovery merger is a long, long path indeed. We'll see what happens. So, of course, this has sparked a whole bunch of conversations surrounding what is actually going to happen, especially because the Flash movie is such, yes, Black Adam and Aquaman got moved back, but as far as what the Flash movie is possibly and has supposedly going to mean for, the DCEU moving forward, there's so much talk about, is, Batfleck going to die and be done with? What about Henry Cavill? It just, because it's like a multiverse / universe altering type of movie, that's what people have been talking about so much for the Flash movie. So this could potentially be a big thing concerning the Flash and why it has been pushed back so far. Because the Black Adam was only moved back a couple of months. Same with Aquaman, a couple of months. But the Flash got moved back the farthest. So from its original release date. So I don't know, there's a lot of talk going on right now. So in addition to that, she said, "I am not going to ruin the Flash movie," which seems awesome, by the way. Michael Keaton is still the new Batman. See if that sticks. The door is left open for Batfleck to return at some point. Maybe. Still no Henry Cavill. Once again, this is as of now. The movie is over a year away. So that's according to what, she is hearing. Obviously, we need to take all of these types of things with a grain of salt, because there is always going to be a ton of rumors, speculation, scoops, if that's what you want to call them, all those kind of things that come out with, movies in general, but especially these types of movies that have, huge, fan bases and these franchises and IPs and all of this. So, of course, now hashtag Restore the Snyderverse is trending. I mean, Ray Fisher, Joss, Cavill, The Flash. I saw, Affleck was trending a little bit ago as well. So it's just crazy. It blows my mind that anytime some kind of potential news or anything potentially big that comes out about, DC and stuff like that, it within minutes, literally maybe an hour, all of these things are trending. And it's just, I do hope that there is some truth to this. I hope that, like I said, all of these things, all of this stuff happening within a few days, well, not happening within a few days, but coming out publicly within a short period of time, I don't see how it could be much of a coincidence. I'm not going to automatically jump to the conclusion that these delays happen because they're like, oh no, we are restoring the Snyderverse. But um, I do think it could have to do with the merger in the sense that Discovery, I mean, it was very public what happened with Justice League, how the whole thing was handled, not just, reshoots and that kind of thing, but like the way it was handled on a business level and the way consumers were deceived, as well as when Zach actually finally got to make the Snyder Cut, which shouldn't have taken as long as it did to even happen. But since it did, and then he finally was able to, they still didn't allow him to use the Green Lantern footage. And they were still reluctant to, not even reluctant, they refused. I mean, all of the stuff that leaked for it, first of all, the trailers, the movie itself, under the disguise of Tom and Jerry. And then afterward, after it came out, not selling it, not trying to be like, hey, look at this huge success that we have, and like showing support for how well it's doing, which I also made recently a video about statistics that are coming out about where Zack Snyder's Justice League fell along, as far as streaming last year. You can check that out too. So I don't see it as a coincidence. Again, I'm not going to jump to conclusions and say this is it. The Snyderverse is restored. We don't know that yet, but hopefully it is a sign that things are going to hopefully change the way Warner Media Discovery or whatever it's going to be now. Hopefully it's a step in the right direction as far as like how things are handled at a leadership level. And I mean, David Zaslav had said from the beginning when this thing came out publicly that they were going to merge, is that it's going to be creative, our directors, our creative visions, like that is going to be having a good relationship with directors, filmmakers. That is what's going to be important. And now, Toby Emmerich coming out recently saying, oh yeah, that's what we're going to focus on, and it's going to be director driven and blah blah blah. Same thing they said years ago, and then we saw what happened with that. We saw what what their word is worth, how much it's worth. So I think obviously now he's saying that because he's probably going to not be there much longer, just possibly. But I think Discovery is probably like, we need to hold off on releasing these right, like as soon as they were supposed to be, because maybe they just don't, maybe they're not convinced that Toby Emmerich, like what they're saying is actually what's going on, as far as letting directors make what they want to make, letting them have creative control, as much as possible, not just meddling with everything and trying to destroy their own properties. Maybe they're not buying that. Maybe I mean, WB these past few years haven't had the best track record with allowing creative visions to play out the way the directors actually want them to. And so hopefully it's a step in the right direction. I do hope that this opens the door for, again, Batfleck to continue in some way. Please, Henry Cavill as Superman. I hope that if leadership changes, which I think is a pretty, high possibility, if it does, I hope they recognize that, like, this needs to happen. DC is one of their biggest properties, franchises, IPs, whatever. Please make that happen. It's not that they need to convince Henry Cavill. He is ready and on board. You know what I mean? And I think under the right circumstances, it's Ben Affleck agreed to do the Flash movie. Hopefully under the right circumstances, he would like to continue as well, as long as it's a whole change in the way things are handled, like I said. And same with Zack Snyder. If it's under the right conditions, if it's under the right circumstances, I mean, hopefully if there's new leadership, hopefully they recognize that, like, okay, the way you guys have handled all of this is completely wrong, and it's not how it should. That's not how your filmmakers, your cast, or your fans should be treated, your consumers. So hopefully there is someone who recognizes that, and maybe it's a step in the right direction, even if it means not necessarily that it's completely restored, but even if it means that, like, they're not just going to allow the studio to completely take over and dictate all these stupid little things that need to happen. Oh, it has to be jokes. Oh, it has to be totally family friendly. Oh, it has to be this runtime. Oh, it has to be, lighter, brighter colors. Like those types of things that are just like dumb. um, and that they also, I think, across the board treat their directors the same with the same creative respect. For example, you know, James Gunn had total creative control, and Zack Snyder didn't. Um, James Wan with Aquaman, I don't really know too much about. I don't think there's been as much said as far as I don't think they really would meddle with his movie as much, because Aquaman, the first movie, did make $1 billion. But even Patty Jenkins and what happened with the first Wonder Woman movie, and then obviously Wonder Woman 84 was a totally different. Doesn't even feel like it fits in with anything. So even her having to redo, the whole third act of the first movie, like those types of things, if you're going to give one director creative control and freedom to make the movie they want to make, why not? Why are there some directors that you're not doing that for? So that's what I hope at least people feel like, the filmmakers and cast members at least feel like they are treated with the respect that they deserve in making these movies, and hopefully not allowing cast members to be just treated like total garbage on sets. You know what I mean? So hopefully this is positive. Hopefully this is positive. Hopefully there's positive things happening. I'm just going to say that. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a good weekend. Thank you for checking out the channel, and don't forget to leave a thumbs up and or subscribe if you feel so inclined, and we'll see you guys soon.